Hi guys, in this video I've come to my local woodland with the aim of photographing these wildflowers, which as you can see are right of colour. However, what I'm going to do is probably going to quite surprise you, because I'm actually going to photograph them all in black and white. So I think the first thing I need to do is find a suitable subject, and then I'll talk you through the whole process. Right, so I think I've identified a suitable subject, and to take the photos I'm going to be using the Sony A7C coupled with the Tamron 28-200mm lens, and I'm also going to fit the Achromat lens which I used in last week's video. So if you want to know more about that lens stroke filter, do check out last week's video. Right, now normally when photographing wildflowers I'll be thinking about the colours and perhaps getting loads of greens and nice bluey purples in, especially this bluebell. However, I'm photographing in black and white, so I'm more concerned about textures. Now, if you are planning to do this kind of work, I do recommend having some sort of tripod that will allow you to get fairly low down. Just makes your life a lot easier. And also, as you can see, I'm fully waterproofed out again, and that's mainly so I don't get too mucky. I think I've got my composition. I'm quite pleased with the textures of this flower. Now I'm thinking, a bit like when I did a black and white photography triptych a few weeks ago. I really enjoyed doing that, and I think what I'm going to do is the same again for this. So I'm going to actually switch the camera to a square crop. And I'm just going to take the colour shot for you, just to have a look at. Now there are two problems here. First of all, the background's a bit cluttered because I'm shooting f/22, so effectively, whilst the background is out of focus because I'm at sort of near macro range, it's very messy. So I think what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to use one of my old favourite techniques for this shot. But first of all, I'm going to switch the camera to black and white and then take the shot again. But I'll put that shot up on the screen for you now to have a look at, so you can see how it looks in black and white. Now the technique I'm going to use here is something I've used in the past, and I've actually done a whole video about it. It's one of my favourite techniques. And essentially, I'm going to create a black background behind this flower by using just a camera and one flash. I'm going to set the ISO to 100. I'm going to focus on the flower at f/22. Set the shutter speed to 200th of a second, and I'm going to take that shot. Which is totally black, which is exactly what I was looking for. So now I just need to illuminate my subject. I'm just trying to find the optimal angle for the lighting. It's always a bit of trial and error finding that correct lighting angle for it, because ultimately I'm trying to make a creative portrait of this flower as such. But I've taken a few shots and I'll continue to do so, and when I'm finally happy with what I've got, I'll put it on the screen for you to have a look at. Now for the next shot, I found this rather nice pinky purpley flower here, which is really small. If I put my finger by it, you can give an idea of the size really. And it gives you an idea of how well this Achromat filter stroke lens actually does. Anyway, as beautiful as it looks in pinky purpley, I'm going to switch it to the live view and I'm going to show you how it looks in black and white. Right, so that's the flower in colour. And that's it in black and white. Now, as you can see, at the moment, I've got 1/200th of a second f14 ISO 100. Let me slightly recompose. I think what we have to try and remember is I'm trying to keep this as a triptych, so I want the flowers to be a similar size if possible. Take that. As you can see, totally black. And that's the key to this technique. Basically, I've set the camera to the base ISO, ISO 100. I've got a high F number of, in this occasion, f14. I'm shooting at 200th of a second, and that's rendering everything black. But I've got a flash attached. So now I bring the flash in, and as you can see, what we're getting is we're getting the flower against a pure black backdrop. Now I'm going to drop the flash power down a little bit. And again, I take a few shots. I have to hasten to add at this point, not to combine in post, simply to find my favourite angle. But that one looks even better. As you can see, if we go to the histogram, it's a nice dark backdrop. I would hope for it to be basically showing a shadow warning further around. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring it to f18. You see the difference is happening there? Go f20. And I think that's the shot, so I'll review them. I think that's probably going to be the one I'll go for, but whichever happens to be my favourite, I'll put it on the screen for you now. So my final shot's a little bit more delicate. We've got a dandelion clock here, which, whilst maybe not perfect, I still think it's a nice little subject. I've composed my shot, and now it's a question of, again, just getting my flash. What I'm going to try and do, I think, is try and almost backlight it. Yeah, that should, I'll try it from the front. I'll try it from above. Oh, I do like it from above, actually. Oh, and that was it. I think I've definitely got that one then, so yeah, I'll put that shot on the screen for you. So that's it, guys, and I think really the whole point of this video is sometimes to look past the obvious shots, because I think when you come to woodland in spring, it's pretty obvious just to take loads of nice colourful shots. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing nicer than photographing wildflowers in glorious colour at this time of year. But of course that doesn't mean that you can't take monochrome images and sort of perhaps concentrate more on the texture and form of them as opposed to that riot of colour. And to achieve this black backdrop look that I wanted, all I've used is a camera trigger and a flash, and that's it. The Achromat lens has come in really useful for getting nice and close. For me today, it's just been about coming out, trying to get 3 photos that work together to create a triptych, because I do quite like doing that. And to just experiment and just have a bit of fun, because for me, photography is all about having fun. So guys, before I leave you with the final triptych, I'd just like to say thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And until next week, here's the triptych.